Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best MLB-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show. My name, of course, is John Campea, and this show, of course, is brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. And here on this podcast, we talk about movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, all sorts of good things, not just giving you our opinions, but giving you context and information so you can form your own well-informed opinions, whether they're the same or completely different from ours. I'm joined on today's podcast, of course, by Ray Ora and Jonathan Voico, and most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for joining us here on, this is actually kind of the inaugural John Campea Show podcast. We're actually recording this as a podcast and a podcast only. We haven't done this in a while, and it's good to have you guys here. We're going to talk about the new Echo show. We're going to talk about Loki getting a release date and somebody who's been left off the press release. Fast X, the reviews are coming out, and they're not great. Five Nights at Freddy's has a new trailer, as does Mission Impossible. And we're going to talk about all that stuff. So first of all, Ray, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm just excited to start this podcast, see how it goes. I mean,
yep, and Jonathan's back here as well.
I am back here, but suddenly my job just got a lot easier. I don't have to worry about lights or camera switching. This is great.
Nope, just recording, and we're good to go. All right. Hey, listen, guys, before we get rolling on all this kind of stuff, I guess I don't need to remind you guys to go and subscribe to the podcast because you're listening to the podcast. So that's great. Hey, by the way, because we've been telling our people on our channel, on the YouTube channel, to go and subscribe to the podcast now, for the first time ever, the John Campea Show podcast is appearing on the Spotify charts. We are number 31 today on the Spotify charts. Thank you so much to everybody who's made that possible for us being on there. Also want to remind you guys, if you're listening to this prior to 3 p.m. Los Angeles time, don't forget to go over to the YouTube channel, listen to our live open mic show where all we do is take your questions. All right. All that down, guys, let's get into it here. We're going to start off with this. You know, with Disney Plus, just jump back a couple of years. Disney Plus was coming, and it was, at least to a lot of fans, it was the promise of a new day.
New day.
New day. Because we're going to get Marvel TV shows. What? They were going to get Star Wars TV shows. What? It's going to be a glorious new era. Just a fabulous lands flowing with milk and honey. Everybody's going to be so happy and joyous. Anyway,
Blue milk and honey.
It hasn't quite been the paradise that maybe we thought it was going to be. Now, they've had some great shows, right? WandaVision, Ms. Marvel. They've had some terrible shows. She-Hulk, Obi-Wan. And they've had some where Obi-Wan wasn't terrible. I'll say Book of Boba Fett. Terrible. And they've had a lot of okay shows. Loki, a bunch of other things.
We can't deny it had a strong start. I mean, The
Huge
Mandalorian,
start.
WandaVision, it got those subscribers or subscriptions.
Dude, it looked like coming right off the bat, the first Star Wars one was Mandalorian, and then the first Marvel one was WandaVision. Arguably, I think Andor is the best Star Wars show they've had on Disney Plus, but for a lot of people, that season 1 of Mandalorian is the best thing they've done with Star Wars on Disney Plus. And I think most people agree that WandaVision was the best thing that Marvel did on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, it's kind of been all downhill after that, even though they've had some good things. Well, one of the shows they've got coming is Echo. And of course, Echo was a character that was introduced in the Hawkeye series, right? And that's great, and it's coming. Now, I'll be honest with you. The idea of introducing a character in another bigger character show is to get the audience excited about seeing that new character show. I had an odd reaction, though, because I was actually less interested in an Echo show after seeing the character in Hawkeye. Nothing to do with the actress. I think the actress did a terrific job portraying the character. It's just I don't think they wrote the character well, right?
Right.
And so we've known this Echo series is coming, and everybody's been talking about, and all the stories has been all the production problems they've had. Apparently there are script issues, yada, yada, yada. And the word around was that the show was not turning out so well, and we've never had more concrete evidence of that until now. Deadline has revealed that Echo has a release date now, but with a catch. The folks at Deadline write this. They wrote, Marvel is launching a new binging strategy on Disney Plus. No, they're not. Kevin Feige just revealed that all episodes of the Hawkeye spinoff Echo will drop at once on November 29th. This is a new move for the company, which has previously aired episodes week to week. Now, I also want to point out that in the same article in Deadline, they highlight the following. Meanwhile, the second season of Loki will air weekly starting October 6th. All right. Look, one of the things that Disney Plus has done, and done brilliantly, is they rejected the Netflix drop all the episodes at once nonsense, because that doesn't help your show. They drop them week to week, and what we have seen repeatedly on Disney Plus is that by doing the week to week strategy, for most of their shows, the audience gets bigger and bigger and bigger, particularly with their good shows, because people watch it, love it, tell other people, you got to come watch this show. And other people haven't fallen behind because there's only one episode out left. There's only been one episode out. So then they get on board and then people talk. I remember with WandaVision started with a relatively small audience. And by the time it got to the finale, it was like the #1 show in the world for that time period, because word of mouth builds. Listen, we've talked about that on this show 1,000 times. And obviously, that's what Disney believes in, because Loki, which is a show a lot of people like, I think it's an okay show. I don't think it's bad, but a lot of people quite like it. Loki, which is a good show, it's getting the week-to-week thing. But Echo, they're dropping all at once. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're doing it because I believe that the only reason you do this is if the show stinks. I think the only reason you suddenly take this show that we've heard all these problems about, that a lot of people like myself are expressing don't have a lot of interest, and you're just going to drop it, because I think what Disney is afraid of, in that the week to week when it's good builds the word of mouth, I think what Disney's going to be afraid of is that if you release Echo week to week, the word of mouth is just going to get worse. So they probably have a better chance of getting people to watch it if they just drop it all at once. Now, again, I can't prove that. Right? I haven't had Kevin Feige call me on the phone and say, yeah, Campea, man, we shit the bed with this Echo show. We're just gonna. No, look, for all I know, they think the show's great. I am purely speculating, but when you consider that everything Disney has dropped, all their premium stuff is always week to week, and they definitely enjoy benefit of that, I think it says a lot that they're dropping Echo all at once. I don't know. You guys got
it does sound like they're ripping the Band-Aid off as fast as possible. Just take the pain and move on.
Just get it out there, drop it, and move forward. Yeah.
I'm looking at the release date. It's November 29th, right?
Yeah, so it should be coming as soon as Loki finishes.
Right. Which is a little it confused me, because I was hoping it would come out before Secret Invasion was released, because she was in the a part of the comic series. Oh, I mean, she had a small part in that comic book arc. I mean, she I think she was she met up with Spider-Woman, who was disguised as a Skrull.
She was the queen, right? Wasn't Spider-Woman the queen?
And yeah. And she messed up Echo.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Secret Invasion is going to be very different from the comic books.
Right.
Super different.
And that releases on June 21st.
Yeah, it's coming. It's the next one up. So we got Secret Invasion, which is looking good. We got Loki, which I hope is, I hope they take what was good about the first season, build upon that, make it even better. And then we got Echo. But I'm telling you, man, this is such a public vote of no confidence in this show. I'm really surprised they're doing it.
The problem with Echo was there's nothing really memorable about her that makes her stand out.
She was not a fan favorite in that show.
No, they didn't write her well.
Is she Kingpin's daughter in the MCU?
No. She was kind of like in Hawkeye. She was kind of like, her father was killed and Kingpin kind of became like a father figure to her. But then she finds out, of course, that Kingpin was the one who arranged for her father to be killed. So, I mean, there's all that drama. Again, I just think they did the character a disservice in Hawkeye. But anyway, that's our thoughts on that. So, guys, what do you think about that? I mean, so do you think that Echo is kind of just getting dumped by dropping all the episodes at once so everybody will not talk about how bad it is? Because remember, when Book of Boba Fett was out, just kept talking week after week about how bad the show was. And they just stretched out the pain. They just stretched out the pain for that. Although, I guess I like the first episode of Book of Boba Fett. I did. Just like I liked the first episode of Obi-Wan. It's just that they kind of went downhill after that.
Do you think this has anything to do with Echo just being no one knows this character yet? Maybe they just said, because Loki, he's beloved. You're going to hold that, even if it's bad week to week, right? Is there anything you think? I agree with you. It's going to be a bad show probably.
There might be some credence to that, except they put out a Ms. Marvel show, right? Who knew Ms. Marvel?
Right.
Like, nobody knew Ms. Marvel. They put out a Shang-Chi movie. Who knew Shang-Chi? So I don't think they're scared about putting out content based on new characters. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope, because I want all my MCU stuff to be good. So I hope I'm wrong, but I got a feeling this is a bad sign. All right. And guys, with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? And it's kind of connected to that. Now, in that story about Echo, there is another story, and that is, of course, that Loki now has a release date. And that release date for Loki is October 6th. Now, that should be the story that we've got in Loki, because we've gone a little bit in between Marvel shows. Now we're going to have Secret Invasion, we're going to have Loki, we're going to have Echo. So the story here should be release date for Loki Season 2, October 6th. Great. Here's the problem, though. And I put up a video about this with my quick thoughts on the YouTube channel earlier this morning, but we should talk about it here because this is where it gets interesting. You see, whereas the release date announcement should be the story, in the press release that Deadline is reporting, they go on to mention the cast of Season 2. So they do this thing about Loki, new release date, blah, blah. And in that article, as part of the press release, they discuss the cast. Here's what they say in Deadline, and I'm reading this verbatim. Tom Hiddleston is joined in the cast by Owen Wilson, who's great in Season 1, by the way, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Sophia DiMartino, Wunmi Mosaku, and Richard E. Grant. Anybody notice a name missing there? What about Kang? Where's Jonathan Majors?
Where is Kang?
He Who Remains, or...
Yeah, like, so, because this is where it gets really interesting. We've already gotten our first look at Loki Season 2, sort of, in a way, right? Because it was in the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania post-credit scene. Was a teaser for the upcoming Loki Season 2. And it was Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, and Jonathan Majors. Actually, both post-credit scenes about Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was about Kang. There's, of course, the football stadium of Kangs. And then you had, Jonathan Majors on stage with those three. So you'd think that he would have his name here. Now, what I said in my video this morning, I'll repeat here. It is completely possible that Jonathan Majors may not actually be in Loki Season 2 very much. Maybe, because remember, he wasn't in much of Season 1. Maybe he's in like one episode or an episode and a half of Season 2. And as such, they're like, okay, we don't need to mention. Maybe all these people, Richard E. Grant, which I thought he died in Season 1, but whatever, It's the multiverse. Owen Wilson, Sophia DiMartino. Maybe all these people are in the show 5 times more than Jonathan Majors. Mm-hmm. And that's simply why Jonathan Majors isn't mentioned in the list. Maybe that's the case. Or, and I'm put on the tinfoil hat here, is this the very subtle way of Disney trying to distance themselves from Jonathan Majors right now? Now, of course, Jonathan Majors just had his first court appearance. He did it virtually, but he did his first court appearance. The DA is moving ahead with the charges against him. We don't know how this is going to turn out. And more importantly, Disney doesn't know how it's going to turn out. So could it be that Disney right now is playing the PR game and just trying to distance or shrink the appearance of Jonathan Majors here?
Look, it could be. You're right. It could be he's not in many episodes. I mean, he could be in the last episode. Yet all the episodes have like things that he's doing, but without him even being on the, on the screen. I mean, I think if you put Jonathan Majors in every single episode of Loki, doesn't that take away his impact in the next movie, The Kang's Dynasty? You know what I mean? Like, would you actually do all that
You
stuff?
want to save him a bit.
Yeah, in a Disney Plus show? Because by the time that movie comes out, everyone's like, oh, he did this on Loki. Like, he might not. I agree with you. He might not even be in this show a lot. He could be mentioned a lot. You could do that without even having him on screen. But, you know.
Yeah, the one thing that is interesting, though, again, I'm going back to that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania post-credit scene where they give us a look at Loki and they give us 3 people, Jonathan Majors, Owen Wilson, and Tom Hiddleston. And it kind of gives you the impression that Kang is going to play. I mean, look, and how did season 1 end? It ended with Loki looking up and seeing a big statue face of Jonathan Majors, realizing that the time has been changed or he's in a different time thread or something. So again, you're right. There's a very, very good chance here. This is just simply, hey, you know what? He's not actually in the movie much or in the show much. Maybe. Or maybe this could be them trying to hedge their bets a bit.
Yeah, or maybe when he was announcing all of this, he was just cleared his throat and walked away from the mic. And like, anyone else? Like, no.
I mean, it could be like just a Chasing Kang series. Where
Well,
like,
I think it will be.
where it's like they get these clues, whatever.
I think it's going to be cat and mouse.
Yeah.
You know?
And then like he'll show up every now and then, but probably not doing a lot, I don't think. I don't think they would waste that on Disney Plus show.
Well, they're not going to be able to defeat him because we got to lead to the, you know.
I mean, ultimately at the end, well, look, Kang has died twice now, right? He died.
Well, he's got a stadium
He died in Loki season 1, and he died in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Can't play that card no more.
There's plenty of Kangs to die. There's lots of Kangs that are ready to die. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? Do you think this is Disney very subtly and quietly trying to make people forget that Jonathan Majors, separate themselves a little bit from the controversy right now? Or do you think this is a very simple, innocent matter of, hey, he's probably not actually in the show much. He's probably going to be a minor character in the show, and therefore that's why he's not on the cast list. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, let us know, would you? All right. That down. Let's move on to this here. Opening this week, Fast X. I'm not going to lie to you. It feels like just yesterday. What was it? Jeremy Lin? Is that who was the director of? Yeah.
Jeremy Lin.
Was walked off.
Justin Lin.
What's that?
Justin Lin.
Justin Lin, thank you. Walked off the set of Fast X. He was set to direct. He's directed many of the Fast and Furious movies, and I don't know. I guess him and Vin Diesel just don't get along anymore. And they were already in production. He walked away. Now they went out and got my director, the man who directed me in mine and Ed Norton Jr.'s Incredible Hulk movie. Of course, Ed Norton is my co-star in that movie. Louis Leterrier was my director in that. And they went out and got him. The guy who did, you know what? Not a bad fit. The guy who did the Transporter movies. I mean, if you're going to try to pick out some movies that are kind of similar in a way to Fast and Furious, go out and get the Transporter guy. Now, look, I've talked about this on the show before. As much of a huge fan as I am of Vin Diesel, and I really like the Fast and Furious franchise, I hated 9. I thought it was just awful. It's like in 5, 6, and 7, and to a degree 8, the Fast and the Furious franchise found the perfect formula for becoming kind of ridiculous while still just being fun and keeping one little tippy toe in what could appear to be feasible and what could maybe, like I said, just a little pinky toe in what could be possible. But they really pushed it right up to that edge of ridiculous. You know what it is to me? Fast 9 is the Thor Love and Thunder of the Fast and Furious universe, right? Because Thor, especially in Ragnarok, right? They pushed the humor a lot, but they balanced it out well in Ragnarok, right? Like it was fun and funny, got a little bit silly, but also very heavy and dark and all that kind of stuff with the death of Odin, the destruction of Asgard, the death of his sister, the losing of his eye, the destruction of Mjolnir. Like they balanced it all out, right? But then along came Thor Love and Thunder, and then they went way too silly. They just went way overboard. That's what Fast 9 is. It's like in 5, 6, 7, and 8, they pushed it up to that, right up against that wall. And then in Fast 9, they just said, fuck it. We're gonna go, you know what? We're gonna go to space. I hated that movie. Now, even though I hated it, I have loved the trailers. I have loved the trailers for Fast X.
You see me shining.
I can't believe how much I love the trailers for Fast X. Well, guess what? It is now screened for some audiences. It opens this week officially, but there have been some advanced screenings, and the critics have now seen it, and the critic ratings are coming out. And they're not great, but they're not terrible either. As of right now, Fast X, with almost 100 critic reviews in, is holding a 60%. Not great, but it means the majority of critics like it. 6 out of 10 critics are saying they like the movie. So it could be worse, right? It's not terrible. It's all right. Actually, you know what? I forget. Ray, can you look this up for me?
Yeah.
Look up, what was the Rotten Tomato score of Fast, what was even the name of Fast 9?
It was Fast 9.
Was it just Fast 9? Yeah, look up Fast 9's Rotten Tomato scores. I can't remember what that got. I mean, it should be a 0, but I got a feeling it's going to be, the subjectivity of film will suggest it's probably going to be higher than
Are we
0.
talking about the critic score?
Yeah.
It was Fast 9, Fast 9, the Fast Saga, or F9, the Fast Saga.
All right, and
So
what did it
it's,
get?
critic score was 59%, and audience score was 82%.
I'm sorry, 59% of the critics liked 9?
Guess.
Really?
311 reviews.
I mean, that's okay.
You know, we got to rewatch it, or I got to watch it for the first time then.
I do not need to rewatch it, but
Yes,
you know
you
what?
do.
That's okay. Yeah, you and me are going to sit down and rewatch Fast 9. You know what? I guess that's the beautiful thing about movies, man, is the pure subjectivity. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean other people can't like
And
it.
people say critics don't know what they're talking about.
50. So, according to the critics, Fast X is 1% better.
I like the reviews I was reading. The first review I saw on Twitter was, it's better than F9. That's it. That's all they said. It's better than F9. It's way better than F9.
Yeah, but
so
here's the thing. You know, that's okay. Sorry, you said that, and I'm like, that sounds familiar. Because I got kicked in the balls by a donkey, and then I said, well, it's better than Fast 9. So that doesn't really say a lot to me. I know. Are either one of you guys looking forward to? Like, I don't care. I'm excited about seeing this movie. Are you guys looking forward to it?
I feel like my intelligence significantly drops when I watch the trailer, so I'm going to stay the hell out.
You can feel yourself getting dumber
Yeah, I
by the
start
minute.
drooling, so I'm going to stay the hell out of that theater.
I think this is going to be a fun movie to me. If I watch it, I think I'm going to be laughing a lot for some reason. It's going to be one of those where it's like, if something's just so ridiculous, I'll laugh. I might offend people in the theater, so
Like,
I
you're
might have to
laughing for
wait
the wrong
until.
you're laughing for the wrong reason.
No, I do that a lot. I mean, John knows. Like, there's like,
Dominic's son dies.
oh no. But remember in the Adam Driver dinosaur.
Oh, yeah.
I laughed during parts I shouldn't have, or everyone was silent, just because I was just having a good time. I mean,
You know what? I think people are going to be like that. In fact, we should go Thursday night. We should go tomorrow night because it opens tomorrow night.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
We can talk
I
about-
don't think Dominic's son's going to die, considering I'm assuming he survives driving off of a dam and going straight
I'll
down
tell you
behind an
what.
explosion.
I'll tell you what, though. You remember Michelle Rodriguez not long ago? She was being interviewed. The whole cast sat down and watched the full movie for the first time. Michelle Rodriguez says that ending's incredible. She said my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe we went there, and we've been speculating ever since. What on earth could they be talking about that would have Michelle Rodriguez going, oh my God, we went there, and we talked about maybe Dwayne The Rock Johnson coming back, which
you don't
he
think
is,
it's about that?
which we know he is. But I don't know. Maybe it's also, maybe it's something like actually, oh my God, they killed Dominic's son. What if they did something actually truly dramatic?
that would be a change of
Yeah.
pace right there.
Yeah,
That would
I can't see them doing it, but what if they did that?
What if Dominic actually gets his son killed?
Oh my God.
my God. That would actually, dude, the drama of that just very thing.
Or,
What if Dominic kills his son?
well, this is larger. What if they actually have to deal with the ramifications of gravity?
Oh no.
no, but
Oops, there goes gravity.
Location-wise, I say they go into the Grand Canyon with something. I don't know, whatever. They
go
already
in-
went to space. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't really know where else they can go unless they go into the depths of the oceans and then
That's
cross
what I
over
was
with James
thinking.
Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah,
They
well-
go down there and start fighting with the Na'vi. I don't know.
But that's crazy that you said that. What if something like that does happen?
What if they actually do a major left turn, no pun intended, and like actually introduce something shocking like that? Like I don't think they will. I'm just saying that would be kind of fun.
We haven't heard anything like in that sort of like from the reviews that you've read, right? Or
Oh yeah,
heard?
no, I haven't heard.
No
anything
one's
like
no
that.
one said anything that would closely resemble.
Nothing makes me think that. I'm just wild speculation.
But that would be crazy. Let's rewrite it right now.
Let's do it right now. It can't be hard. It's just a Fast and Furious movie. All right, guys. So as of right now, with almost 100 critic reviews in, Fast X is holding a 1% higher critic rating than Fast 9. Fast 9 shouldn't be rated that high. Anyway, guys, whatever you guys think about that, let us know. All right, guys. With that down, let's get into a couple of trailer talks here. at CinemaCon that Ray and I were at a few weeks ago, they showed us this big 15-minute clip of the upcoming Mission Impossible movie. It was great. Got everybody running from Palm Clementine.
Sorry.
Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy is now the bad guy that Tom Cruise is on the run from.
This is her movie, as far as I'm concerned.
It looks like her movie. It does to me. But after that 15-minute scene they showed us, they then showed us the new trailer, which they had now dropped online. And listen, I think the trailer, I remember they showed us the first trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 last year at CinemaCon. They showed us the first trailer there. Then at this CinemaCon a few weeks ago, they showed us the full 15 minutes and the new trailer. You know, I thought it looked good. I thought the first trailer looked good. I really do. This trailer makes it look like the best Mission Impossible movie yet. Now, again, a trailer's a trailer. It's just a piece of marketing. We've seen a lot of great trailers to terrible movies, but this trailer, the pacing of it, the kinetic energy of it, the fights look great. The car chases look spectacular. Obviously, it's not a Tom Cruise movie without him doing something completely insane to bring a verisimilitude to it. Like, I mean, again, I've been watching some features, like full 20-minute feature. I saw like a full 20-minute feature about them just setting up and coordinating and executing that stunt of him riding the motorcycle off the cliff. Like, it's crazy. And he did like 70 jumps off the cliff or something like that.
Speaking of the stunts, I haven't seen any of the Mission Impossible movies. I have to admit, it's just not my sort of genre. But I said after Top Gun Maverick, whatever Tom Cruise is in, I'll watch just because I love that movie so much. I mean, I kind of wish they didn't show that train sequence because I thought that looked really cool. I hope they have more to show, like, because it looked like they showed a lot of the big money shots in this one.
I'll tell you what. The whispers are that right now, the cut of the movie is around 4 hours. And
right, that's right. We talked about that.
That's right. And the studio is like, they're putting their foot down a little bit. Like, they let Tom do a lot of what he wants to do, but the studios put their foot down saying, no, this movie's got to get shrunk by a lot more.
And this is counting. This is part 1 is 4 hours. This isn't even like.
Oh, yeah. This is in both parts. No. Yeah. So we're probably going to end up with a Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. That's probably, I'm going to guess, is going to clock in at 3 hours, maybe 3 hours and a few minutes. Ooh. So no matter what you see in the trailers, there's probably a whole lot more.
Has to be.
There has to be. And this is a big, long movie. You guys, well, Jonathan, you saw the trailer. What do you think of it? Do you like it more than the Fast and the Furious trailers?
Considerably so. It's everything that the Fast trailer is not. And I mean, even though it's over the top stunts, they're obviously possible because Tom Cruise is doing them for the most part, right? I mean, when we see some of the stunts where he's like headed towards a moving train and all that, I mean, obviously some of the stuff's going to be CGI, but where he's going off a cliff, like you said, he did that 70 times just to get the shot.
That's right. Him actually going off the cliff. When he's halo diving out of the last Mission Impossible, that's him actually doing
this is the kind of event,
jump.
This is the kind of event movie I'd be looking forward to, because whereas like in Fast X, and I know I'm just like hating on it, but I'm just saying, I know it's all so fake and just kind of cartoonish, and that's why you go, and I get that. But this is an event because you know this is happening. You know, these stunts and everything else.
That shot you're talking about with the train where he ducks in that tunnel, that shot looked really cool to me.
Oh, yeah. See, like really that kind of stuff is fake. There's no way Tom Cruise.
No way
I know, but it still looks real.
Any insurance company would let Tom Cruise just stand on the top of the train and duck under the bridge at the last second. Okay, so let me ask you this. I'll throw out mine first. What do you think is the craziest stunt that Tom Cruise has done? Because don't forget also about that. Remember the Mummy movie he did? They literally, there's a scene, and think what you will about the Mummy movie he did, but there's a scene in that movie that is so awesome, where in the movie they're in a plane, and the plane, they lose control of the plane, right? And so they're kind of bouncing around inside the plane. Well, what they actually did was they took this special jet up to the edge of outer space, so there's very, very little gravity, and they actually filmed them going around. It's totally nuts. And which movie was it where Tom Cruise actually broke his leg? Remember he broke his leg?
That was the last mission.
Was the last one where he was jumping from one building to the other?
Like his shin hit the...
and he broke his leg?
Awful.
So, but to me, the craziest one, like he did the one where he's outside of the building, and is that Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's crazy. But to me, the craziest one, not even him piloting his own helicopter and those stunts or flying jets in Top Gun. It's that scene in one of the Mission Impossible movies where he's literally holding on to the side of a plane.
That's the one I was going to say.
As it takes off, and he's just, and they, I mean, to me, that is, I don't care if they have adamantium bindings holding you to that plane. I would never do that.
Well, not to mention, you could get so injured if something happens and you just bang into the plane while you're hanging onto it.
Oh,
I mean, talk about the stories he has for his grandkids. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's the favorite grandpa right there. I mean, for me, my big concern is I haven't seen any of the movies. From your watching of them.
Oh, you never even seen like the first one?
No. Can someone like me go into this movie and just like pick it up? Like pick up everything?
I mean, look, okay, I say yes. I haven't seen this movie yet, so I can't
but
say
from the previous ones. Like if you watch the third one.
Yeah, I think
without the first two.
I think you can. Okay. I think you can just go in and pick up. I mean, that's the nice thing about the Mission Impossible movies is that you'll get a better appreciation if you've seen the previous ones, but each one of the movies is a completely good entry point.
Yeah.
And like the last one, the one with Henry Cavill, if you hadn't seen another Mission Impossible movie, you will not feel lost at all. You can go into that movie, watch it, and you won't feel like you're missing anything.
Okay,
but skip 2.
Yeah,
in my opinion, 2 is just useless.
I'll be honest with you. I think you can skip the first 2. I think you just go right to the first.
I love the first one because it's so like. It's just more realistic.
Did they have
it did take a tone shift by 3, but I think 4 for the new, like that shift in tone.
Yeah.
They nailed it with 4.
4 is where the series really took off.
Was that Ghost Protocol? The one where he's in the hoodie?
I can't remember.
No, I don't think it's Ghost.
What is the name of the 4th one? I can't remember.
Look that up.
These things should just be called Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is why I don't like subtitles on these movies.
That's what I'm worried about. I want to know things. I guess I could
it was Ghost Protocol.
It was?
Oh, look at that. The one guy in the room who hasn't seen it is the one guy who got it right.
You know, all my knowledge comes from just doing graphics for like
graphics
your
for
shows,
the show.
man.
Right, then Rogue Nation,
Rogue Nation.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Did you have a chance to see this trailer to the new Mission Impossible? I think it makes the movie look like the best one in the franchise. Now, whether it will be or not, we'll have to wait and see. Whatever you guys thought about it, let us know. All right. With that down, guys, let's get into our final topic here before we start taking questions from our audience. Listen, I'm going to tell you what. No video game ever has ever made me feel scared. No video game movie has ever made me, or no video game, I should say, has ever made me feel creepy or whatever. Not that there aren't good horror video games. There are. It's just that even though they're good games, they don't make me feel a sense of creepiness or anything. I just don't feel that in games. Until a couple of years ago, I'm lying in bed and everybody was playing this Five Nights at Freddy's game. And so Anna and I were talking about it. I thought, you know what? I'm going to download it and try playing it. And I made the mistake of doing that while lying in bed in the dark. And I started playing Five Nights at Freddy's. And I realized all of a sudden that my hands holding my tablet were gripped pretty hard.
Your screen's cracking.
And I'm realizing, oh my God, this game is actually making me feel stress. I am stressed out. And the game, and which is funny because the game is hilarious. It's really funny. But at the same time, I had never played a game, mobile game, console game, computer game ever that has made me feel stressed. And like stressed as in horror kind of stressed. Like not being able to accomplish a certain mission in World of Warcraft, that gets me really stressed. But I mean, like horror stressed. And this thing did it. And they announced that they were making a movie. And I thought, this is a terrific idea. This could make a really good movie. Now, it stuttered and started and stuttered and started and went on and on and on. Of course, then they announced that the Jim Henson Company was doing the practical.
And when they showed those images, they were like awesome.
Oh man, when they put out the images of what they were working in the workshop, and we're all just like, that looks perfect.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Well, they've dropped the first trailer for it, the first teaser for it. And you know what? I totally forgot that Josh Hutcherson was in it. I like that kid, actually. I like him a lot. I met him when he was doing press for Hunger Games. And he came into the hotel room where I was doing interviews, and I had a good 20 minutes with him, and he was really nice, like a really, really cool guy. And I love seeing good people succeed. And I think this looks really good. Look, I can tell you what, I think this trailer was perfect For a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, this trailer was complete perfection. I can't wait to watch it.
God.
Ray, you had a different response to it, though.
I think this trailer, is this Blumhouse or is this Pixar?
It's
Because that teddy bear,
Blumhouse.
I would have jumped out of that ball pit and hugged that bear.
He was like,
looked
it's so cute.
Hug that bear.
I mean, other than the gleaming red eyes, I mean, I know I've watched people do
Hug the
sharp
bear.
I know I've watched people do the playthroughs on Five Nights, and it's like you're switching through the security cameras, right?
Yes.
And just trying to make sure everything's cool.
You just got to survive the night.
I did.
Just, he said.
Just.
I don't know. There's something about what this teaser did.
I know what you're seeing, but I think it's a misdirect, dude. And I think it's going to be a lot more jump scary and like freaky as you get into the film.
You know what? I got homework for you. Today, sometime today before you go to bed, I want you to download on your phone.
I'll do that.
I want you to download and play the first Five Nights at Freddy's.
It still won't change how I feel about this trailer.
I don't know.
Maybe
It might.
not.
It's the light was too bright. Like I think we saw too much of like the actual like his
Too much
and,
But
like,
that's what people want to see. Like
and
people
isn't
play
this
the
on
game.
Peacock?
What's that?
Isn't this releasing on Peacock?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm glad you brought that
Yeah,
up because
that's
that is
a
the
little sad.
one thing that makes me pretty apprehensive is that Peacock has a history of the movies that they release day and date in theaters and on Peacock on the same day are shitty.
It looks a little Peacock.
And that's what they're doing with this movie. They're dropping it on Peacock and in theaters at the same time. And when Peacock does that, the movies usually are shit. But I'm going to try to maintain some optimism and positivity here because I really am excited to see this movie.
Has every movie that Peacock has dropped at the same day actually been? There was that Halloween everyone didn't like. Right?
Halloween 2 and 3. Because they did the first new Halloween movie. And listen, I've never liked Halloween movies. Not even the original. I'm very, very rare. I don't even really like the original Halloween. But the new one of the trilogy they did, that first one, I thought was awesome. I loved it. And so I was so excited for the second one. And they said they were doing it day and date on Peacock. I said, oh, that's fine. And, oh my God, that movie is garbage. Total garbage. And then they did a third one day and date release as well. And it is garbage. So like my general, operating understanding now is that if I see Peacock is dropping a movie, Universal is dropping a movie in theaters and on Peacock in the same day, that pretty much is a guarantee it's going to suck. I hope that Five Nights at Freddy's is the one that bucks that trend because I'm really looking forward to this movie. And I think it looks pretty good. All right. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's? It's just a little teaser, but I got to tell you somebody who played the game a bit, I thought it looked pretty great. Or maybe you're like Ray, where you're like, what's the big deal about this? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, let us know. All right, guys, listen. We're now going to spend the rest of our show taking questions that our YouTube channel members, and if you are listening to the show and you're one of our YouTube channel members, thank you so much for being a channel member. We appreciate that very much. But we put up a post in the community tab for our channel members saying, hey, if you've got questions for today's podcast, fire some in. So we're going to read off and get to as many of those as we can. But before we do, we're going to take a second here and thank the sponsor of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at ExpressVPN and my mobile service provider, Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, ExpressVPN. Guys, it is 2023, and online privacy and security has never been more important. You see, every device, phones, computers, tablets, has a unique IP address, which is like an internet phone number and reveals personal information about you. It's super simple for somebody online who knows what they're doing to find your IP address if you've ever clicked on a sketchy link or opened an email from somebody you don't know. Your IP address could become exposed. Now that's where ExpressVPN has your back. ExpressVPN is an app that hides your real IP address and replaces it with a dummy one, keeping you safe and private. And you don't have to be some kind of techie to use a VPN. Guys, it is so easy to use. Just download the ExpressVPN app on your phone or computer, tap one button to turn it on, and you're protected. And if you like your streaming entertainment, here's the coolest part. They let you choose what country you want your IP address to look like it's coming from. This is incredibly useful because services like Netflix and Disney Plus give you different shows depending on what what country you're in. So secure your family's online activity and unlock tons of new shows by visiting expressvpn.com/Campea. Use my link and you can get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Campea. Go to expressvpn.com/Campea to learn more. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. From the gas pump to the grocery store, your utility bills and favorite streaming services, inflation is everywhere. Seriously, make it stop. Thankfully, there's one company out there that's giving you a much needed break. It's Mint Mobile. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know that ever since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've been saving almost 70% a month over my old phone plan. For people looking for extra savings this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. By going online only and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at ExpressVPN and, of course, my mobile service provider, Mint Mobile, for being sponsors of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, it's time for us to go over to our channel members and hear what kind of topics they want to discuss. So, Jonathan, what do we got?
Okay, first up, we've got Marie Reich, who writes, no question. Just wanted to say that my wife and I became parents a few weeks ago. We had a boy.
Congratulations.
Thanks for as you do, as always.
Oh, dude, that is so great. I mean, Murray Reich has been a viewer of our show. I mean, going back prior to the John Campea, I mean, I think all the way back in the AMC days, I think Murray Reich has been a viewer. Congratulations, man. That is awesome to hear. I hope you and your wife and your new little one are doing great, man. Thanks for sharing that with us.
All right,
what's
next. Yeah, next we've got Red One Real Talk, who asks thoughts on this season of Ted Lasso as we approach the finale. I started feeling disappointed with all these seemingly unrelated plot threads, but boy, have they just weaved everything together brilliantly. Can't say enough about how much I'm loving Jamie Tardy in particular this season.
Jamie, talk.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I am one episode behind on the new Ted Lasso. For the most part, I have loved this season of Ted Lasso. There have been 1 or 2 episodes that I'm like, I could have taken or leaving that episode. But on whole, I just thought this season has more heart. They've leaned away from the funny a little bit. I'd love to see a little bit more comedy. Don't get me wrong. There's been some great laughs this season, but a little bit light on. But I think they've made up for it with heart in it. So, but I am an episode behind, so I'm not completely caught up yet. All right, what's next?
All right, Mighty Tank One writes, loving the newsletter. Just read your thoughts on theater showtimes and just wondering if you know of anyone that has taken legal action. I'm sure it's more trouble than it's worth, but wouldn't be surprised if anyone has tried. Having to wait 20 minutes plus minutes really sours the experience for me.
So one of my crusade issues when it comes to movies, my old crusade issue for many years, going back to my movie blog days, was why in holy hell do we in North America not have pre-assigned seating in our movie theaters? It is so Stone Age archaic that you buy your ticket to a movie theater, and then if you want to hope to get a good seat, you got to show up an hour and a half or 2 hours in advance and stand there like an idiot and hope you get a good seat. While every other civilized country in the world had pre-assigned seating. Well, that happened. Great. Now, my personal kind of movie fandom army crusade is, hey, movie theaters, when we pay you $20 to show up and sit in your theater for 2 hours, and you tell us showtime is at 7, start your fucking movie at 7. Like, it's really infuriating to me that you pay $20 for a 2-hour experience, and the first thing they do once you buy your $20 ticket and then spend $17 on a small popcorn and a small soda is they force you to sit there and watch almost 30 minutes of commercials. And that is preposterous. So I propose, if number one, what they should really do is what the CEO of Paramount has begged movie theaters to do: shorten the number of trailers you play. Because when you play so many trailers, people don't even remember the trailers they saw. So that's number one, what they should really do. But if you don't want to do that, fine. But it should be law that movie theaters, if you want to still say showtime is 7 and that's where your trailers start, it should be law that they should advertise what time the actual movie starts. If you want to say showtime starts at 7, movie starts at 7:28, fine. So then I know when I can show up to the theater. Because what happened to Ann and I a couple of weeks ago is we did what we now assume is like, the movie doesn't start for like 25 minutes after showtime. And so fine. So we showed up about 20 minutes late. So we figured we still had 5 minutes to spare. But for that one movie, they actually started it at 7:15. So we actually missed the first 6 or 7 minutes of the movie because they have this stupid thing. So I think it should be law that movie theaters actually advertise the actual start time of the movie.
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you right now, John, and this is it. Okay, I think the trailers, we'll probably do away with them soon. We still have like a generation that still doesn't go on YouTube and watch these trailers at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is working for those people. Those people. What if the trailers were they played trailers that were only released in theaters, like new ones? That's the only place you could actually see it. What if they went back to that? Would that make it any better? Like,
no,
like something you haven't seen.
Nah. Because again, like listen, I like trailers, I do, but I don't want 9 trailers. But because like the guy from Paramount said, they put so many trailers in front of your face that you don't even remember which trailers you saw, right?
So it's the amount you have the problem with.
It's the amount and the time.
There is a bunch.
Because our time is a non-renewable resource. We don't get our time back. So I just think movie theaters have to treat our time a little better. Anyway, sorry, I went off on that way too long. All right, what's next?
All right, Confession Deception writes, as a good Canadian kid, have you seen or do you have any interest in seeing the Blackberry movie? Got to see it last week, and it's a huge win for Canadian cinema. Very funny, interesting, and ultimately a dark tale of humanity.
You know what? I just saw something about a Blackberry movie, and I'm like, really? There's a Blackberry movie. So, I mean, so Blackberry, of course, Blackberry ruled the world for a while.
It is about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they absolutely ruled the world for a long time. Like if you were somebody in business, you had your Blackberry on you, right? And it's incredible how Blackberry was the MySpace of mobile phones. They were the biggest game in town. And all of a sudden, poof, they were gone. Now, it shocks some people to find out that the company still exists. I mean, they're still around. I don't know for how much longer, but yes, I am interested in a Blackberry movie.
My first job in an IT department, I worked for this law firm, and the very first thing they gave me was a Blackberry. Everyone at that law firm had to use a Blackberry, and it was assigned to, just because that was the way people communicated. I didn't work there long enough for me to even play around with it. So
my first 2 smartphones were quote unquote smartphones were Blackberries.
Yep.
I mean, just the damn phone had a keyboard on it.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. At the time, it was great.
So this is a film and not a documentary, or it's like a sort of film documentary.
Who stars in it?
Biography.
Does it say who's in there?
There is Jay Baruchel,
Jay Baruchel, or
Glenn Howerton and Matt Johnson.
Right, Jay is the big name in there. So I'm curious to see that.
Oh, Carrie Elwes is in there too.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. Wesley is in there. All right. What's next?
Okay. From Gannon, who writes, "Hey, John and crew, what is everyone's favorite Mission Impossible movie?" Well, Ray's is fill in the blank. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably Ghost Protocol. I think that probably is my favorite one.
I'm gonna go part 1, but then if you're saying like with the new take on it, I would go Ghost Protocol.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
All right. Let's see here. We've got Sam Fisher who writes, we've talked about the nuances of the writer's strike, like Ryan Reynolds not being able to ad-lib on the set of Deadpool because of his member of the Writers Guild or being a member of the Writers Guild. But what would a PGA strike look like? Because aren't most studios executives part of the PGA? And also, I don't think the common movie-going audience really has a clear picture of what a producer does. Funny you say that. We have a video about that.
Yeah, actually, if you search on the John Campea channel, if you go to the YouTube channel and search the channel for what does a producer do, we actually put together a editorial video on what that does. So I highly encourage you to go and look for that. No, the producers will not go on strike because they're the bosses. The producers will not go on strike because they are the bosses. So no, the PGA, the Producers Guild of America, which are part of the AMPTP, they will not be going on strike.
Because wouldn't it be like, hey, I want to get paid more. Okay, I'll pay myself more. Isn't that what it is?
It would be like Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, going, I am on strike. For what? What are you talking about? Yeah, so no, there would not be a PGA strike. All right, what's next?
All right. Alan S. writes, hey, John, it's almost game day.
Game day?
For Fast X.
Oh, God. Can I take it back? Can I take that back, game day?
Taking back game day.
Oh,
He
man.
got you guys. Are you planning to do an open spoiler for Fast X? Not sure if you did one for F9, but that movie was so awful. I don't blame you for not doing one.
You know what? Yes, I think I will do an open spoiler discussion for Fast X.
But it has to be a combination of Fast 9 and Fast X because we're going to watch it again. So you
Yeah, that's right. So Ray and I are going to go see Fast X on Thursday night. So Thursday afternoon, we're going to sit down and watch Fast 9 so we can be totally caught up and prepared for the dramatic intricacies of Fast X.
I'm really ruining myself today.
Can't wait for it. All right, what's next?
Kendall Barker writes, do you think Marvel made any post-production edits to Loki Season 2 that reduced Kang's screen time or story involvement? Not eliminated, but reduced.
I don't think so. I think they're going to go one way or the other. They're either going to I would think they would have either taken him out, period, or just left it in, period. There's no point in kind of mucking up the show by like taking out key and important narrative scenes because look, you could take all of him out that you want. If he's even in one scene in the show, that's the story, right? So you either leave him in, which is what they did, or you take him out. There's no point in going halfway in between because it's not like people are going to forget Jonathan Majors was in there if he was only in 3 episodes. You know what I mean? So I don't think it'll make a difference. All right, what's next?
All right. Imperial Executioner writes, hi, crew. What do you think of Disney changing their strategy and dropping all episodes of Echo Show at once later this year? Is that an overreaction to their loss of Disney Plus subscribers?
No, be very clear about this. There is no change of direction. They're doing this because they think this show sucks. I cannot say that as fact, but in the same article, they're going, and Loki, which they clearly have a lot of faith in, releases week to week right before. No, this is not a change of strategic direction for Disney. This is them going, yeah, this show is really rough, and we don't want to drag out people talking about how much our show sucks for 6 weeks. So they're just going to drop it all at once and be rid of it. That's what they're doing. They're washing their hands of it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope I watch a show and I completely love it. But nah, man, this is Disney waving the right white flag on this thing. All right, what's next?
Jesse Keller writes, with Vin Diesel saying Fast X might have 3 parts, do you think the success of this new film will determine if we get 2 more parts or just 1 more as originally planned? Thanks.
100%. If Fast X makes $1 billion, which is not looking like it will, but if it did, 100% Universal is, all right, let's get the wheels off the ground for starting early advanced planning for Fast X Part 3. Yes, but listen, they're saying the opening weekend numbers of Fast X are going to be kind of soft. The last number I saw was 60 million. So I don't know how reliable that number is, but that was Box Office Pro did a projection of 60 million for the opening weekend of Fast X. Now, to put that in context, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 opened nearly 120. So if, and we're talking hypotheticals here, just hypotheticals, if, say, Fast X makes 600 million at the box office, there's no way they're going to do a Fast X Part 3. No way. Because they're going to assume that Fast X Part 2 will probably make even a little bit less than Fast X does. So no, $1 billion, absolutely. 600 million or less, absolutely not. But I do agree that it's going to be really based on what this movie does. All right, what's next?
All right. Apologies in advance for murdering your name, but I believe Josef Viveros. Which casting announcement do you think we'll get first, Superman Legacy or Fantastic Four? I feel like we've been waiting years for an F4 cast announcement.
Well, let's put it this way. We know when they start shooting the movie. They start shooting Superman in January. That's when they start shooting. I believe they already have their Superman. I know, but John, I just saw a story that they're still just narrowing it down now. I don't care what the news reports say. I completely believe they've already got him, and I believe they've had him for a bit. I really do. So my guess is we're going to find out. Let's put it this way. I think the latest we're going to find out who Superman is Comic-Con. I think at Comic-Con is probably when they'll officially make the announcement, and I don't think we'll get the official Fantastic Four casting until after that. So my guess, and this is just a guess, my guess is we'll get Superman's casting first. All right, what's next?
All right. Jared Oberfield writes us and says, I've decided not to care about whatever anyone, including me, has said about The Little Mermaid so far. I'm going to see it on Wednesday night, or as soon as I can, and then judge it for myself. I also think that Mina Massoud has a point about it not reaching $1 billion at the box office. I am almost 34, and every time a film is made that much in theaters has been during my lifetime, and some have only done that because of releases.
Yeah, again, the Mina Massoud, or Massoud, I think is the way it's properly pronounced.
Or re-releases, sorry, that's what he meant to say.
Yeah, I think the Mina Massoud comment, again, I think that's a great example of how triggered and tribal movie fans can be. The dude literally just said, I don't think that movie will make $1 billion. I think it'll definitely get a sequel. I don't think it's going to make $1 billion.
It was purely analytical.
Guess what? I don't think it's going to make it. I'm excited about the movie, and I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. It could, but people literally reacted like he came out and said, fuck this movie in its fuckable face. Like they're acting like he came out and just started bashing on the movie. He just said, I don't think it'll make $1 billion. So what? Who cares? And I really think the people that went after him, attacked him, are pathetic. I really do. Now, don't get me wrong. If you were put off a little bit by his comments, I get that. That's fine. But I'm talking about the people who went straight apeshit and just went visceral and went after this guy. Some of the commentary I read was just preposterous. And I'm sorry, but if you're one of those people that started going after Mina Massoud's heritage and the quality of his character and all this kind of stuff, simply because he said, I don't think that movie will make $1 billion. It's not like he said, I don't think that movie's even going to make $50. He said, I don't think the movie's going to make $1 billion. Big deal. Yeah. I think it's absolutely pathetic the way some people responded to him.
I mean, we've been going through this problem for ages of texts, text,
tweets and
tweets
stuff
or texts. If you not put something down right, people will take it the other way. Did he say it will not make $1 billion, or I don't think it will make $1 billion? There's a big difference. And if people will misconstrue those things just through text and without, them actually saying it, people could turn things around on you.
But here's the thing. People don't just misconstrue things. Right. There are people who just are looking for somebody just to say the slightest wrong thing so they can jump all over them. And that characteristics of our society right now really bugs me.
It also didn't help that he was a part of another live action Disney franchise. So.
A movie that did make $1 billion. Right. But there's that. All right, what's next?
All right. Did you get a chance? Oh, sorry. The Afterpost writes, did you get a chance to watch the Tetris movie yet? If so, any thoughts? I plan on watching it later today.
You know what? I still have not gotten around to watching it. But Ray, you've seen it. You're the one guy in the room who's seen it.
I watched it twice so far.
Really?
It's good. I actually like it. I mean, it was the same week I was watching that pinball movie.
Right.
I watched both of them twice. I mean, they're two different movies. Check it out. I hope you like it. It's really good. It's crazy. That story of Tetris is crazy. It involved more than just a software design or game designer at home. This was worldwide stuff right here. So yeah, check it out. It's really good. It's crazy. You learn new things every day.
You know what? It's funny when people ask, "Wait a minute, how has Ray not seen any of the Mission Impossibles?" Well, he's busy watching Tetris.
Yeah. And
Tetris and pinball.
Subjectivity, baby.
A couple times.
Subjectivity is.
All right, we got time for a couple more. What else we got?
All right. I'm going to get this right today from Amin. Thoughts on Dave Filoni's Star Wars film potentially being called Heir to the Empire?
Yeah, so there's a rumor, and it should be emphasized it's a rumor, but there's a rumor going around that the upcoming Dave Filoni film, which is going to be the culmination of the Mandoverse on Disney Plus, is going to be called Heir to the Empire.
Nice.
Now, if you don't know that phrase, Heir to the Empire is basically the name of it's the name of a book, but it's really what has come to be known as the series of the Thrawn trilogy, the original one that came out many, like 30 years ago or whatever. And it's great. However, it's not canon. It's not canon. Grand Admiral Thrawn is canon, but the story of Heir to the Empire and the Thrawn trilogy are not canon anymore because they also rely very heavily. That story is very heavily Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, all that kind of stuff, right? So let's say for argument's sake, and again, it's just a rumor that they're going to call Heir to the Empire, but let's, for the sake of the discussion, say he does name it that. Don't expect that it's going to be remotely similar to what the Heir of the Empire books were. If you're just got Grand Admiral Thrawn as your villain, forget what the other books were. Forget the story of the original books. Heir to the Empire is actually a good title.
Yeah.
The guy who's coming along, and I won't be surprised if in this Dave Filoni movie, they do it in such a way that whatever Grand Admiral Thrawn does in this movie sets the creation point and the seeds of what becomes the First Order that we then see in The Force Awakens.
I believe so too, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the Star Wars world, if it's a film, it's canon automatically. Is that am I wrong in saying that?
Films are canon automatically.
Okay. Just wanted to double
books
check.
are not.
Okay.
Like when Disney bought Star Wars, they said from now on, everything's canon. Video games, comic books, novels, whatever. And I said, well, that's a nice sentiment, but I don't believe they're going to be able to stick to that. And sure enough, they don't.
Yeah, they went
it got
hard on that
so
one.
bad
many
that when
stories.
Pablo Hidalgo was confronted and say, wait a minute, you say the books are canon, but this happens and this happens in this book. And we know that that contradicts what's in a couple of the movies. And I remember Pablo Hidalgo said, well, if something in the book lines up with canon, then it's canon. And if it's not, it's not. And I'm like, and I remember saying at the time, that's like saying a woman can be sort of pregnant. Like a book is either canon or it is not. Just like a girl is either pregnant or she's not. If there's something in the book that isn't canon, then I don't care if 80% of the rest of the book is canon. Then the book is not canon. But anyway, I'm not going to, I could go off on that on an angry tangent, but I won't right now. All right, let's do one more. What's next?
Okay. From Bill's HQ, John, did you enjoy living in Burbank, possibly looking to relocate there?
I loved Burbank.
Oh, wow. What a great area.
I loved Burbank, like so much so that in Burbank, I lived an hour away from Ray. And Ray visited us way more than we lived in Burbank than now that we live 5 minutes from his house. That's how nice Burbank is.
Oh, yeah, man. It's like I never had to worry walking around that area. It was just a nice place. There's nice people.
Dude, you're like 6 feet, 230 pounds. You don't have to worry about walking around anywhere.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I meant animals or like whatever.
Oh, right.
This and that. And plus, like at 1 a.m., no one walks around. But that place, I was like, if I need to walk around at 1 a.m., then I will.
I mean, honestly, Burbank is great. They have like 1,000 great restaurants. They have 3 beautiful AMC theaters all within 2 blocks of each other. They got a big police station there.
Town center.
They got some great cultural stuff there. It's beautiful. The problem with Burbank is, Ann and I were looking to buy our first house. And because we were renting in Burbank at the time. We'd rented in Burbank for a long time. And we were looking to buy our first house. And the problem with Burbank was this. When we started looking for a house, we were looking at 850 square foot little 1-bedroom rundown shacks that were going for like $875,000. And we're just like, we just can't afford to buy here. I mean, if you want to go and rent there, and it's great. It really is a great place to live. But we couldn't buy a house there, which is the reason why we moved out to the Riverside area, because we could get a really nice house for $500,000. It was great.
And not to mention, if anyone wants to do like the film industry, get into it.
You should.
Down the street, there's a film school from you. I mean,
two film schools,
and then Warner Brothers, Paramount.
Paramount's in Hollywood.
Warner Brothers and
Disney. Warner Brothers lot and Disney's lot is right there. Universal Studios
Cartoon
Hollywood
Network.
is right there. The Cartoon Network building is right there. I mean, Lionsgate's offices no, they're in Beverly Hills.
Nickelodeon. But it's also the heart of like post-production for Hollywood.
Yeah, it is a great place. I really do love Burbank. All right, guys, listen. That'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for listening into our show today. Big special thank you to our channel members. Number one, for being channel members, but also number two, for sending in those questions and giving us some great fun things to talk about. Hey guys, we got a live open mic show that's coming up a little bit later today. We do those most days, so make sure you also go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the daily videos that we put out over there. I want to thank over there Ray Orr. Thanks a lot for being here, man.
Yep.
Of course, Jonathan Voico being here as well.
Of course.
And most importantly, you guys for listening today. That'll do it for us for today, guys. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.